Hello, this is Danhausen here, very nice for evil, and you are listening to Bob After Dark. Subscribe or be cursed.
From Mothman and Nessie to the spirit that haunts your home, welcome to Bob After Dark, a podcast about legends, lore, and the supernatural. So turn your lights down and your volume up and enjoy your trip to the shadows.
Hey there, children of the night, and welcome to Bob After Dark, the show that takes you into the shadows and goes and says hello everything that goes bump in the night. I'm your host with the most that enjoys Toast Bob, and alongside of me, as always, is my ever wonderful, ever vampiric, ever cape-wearing, and forever the heartthrob of Bob After Dark, the captain of speed dating of the paranormal, my producer, Count Panic himself. Oh, hey there, Count Panic.
Oh, hey there, Bob. Can you hear me? Can you see me, Bob?
I can hear you. I can see you.
Chuck's telling me I got to put myself down, but you know what? I like to run a little hot because it's Bob After Dark. It's 9 o'clock on a Tuesday.
It's 9 o'clock on a Tuesday. Wake up, everybody. Yeah. Oh, Count Panic.
That voice could wake the dead.
Oh. We're going to get to the guest in a second here. This is the time we bond with the audience.
This is going to be a good episode, guys.
By the way, Heather, I see a couple people in the chats already, in the YouTube chats.
You're monitoring that,
radio,
I'm not.
You can watch us on the WJLB YouTube page, Heather. And Windstorm1 says, yo back.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Bob After Dark. We are your show that takes you into the shadows and goes and says everything that goes bump in the night. And we are your weekly-ish show where we talk about legends, lore, and supernatural and all of that good jazz. But, of course, we don't start the show without the Count Panic's Weekend Update.
I don't think we even did that. We had a lifetime.
We had like a lifetime update last week.
You know, it was a weekend. It was a busy weekend because, as we got a man there on the end of the table, you'll introduce here in a second. I'll introduce here in a second.
We have two guests.
You were busy. I was busy getting work
One
done,
guest
Bob.
And one intruder.
But just work, Bob. You know, vampires do work from time to time.
Making towns?
Making towns. Didn't go anywhere, Bob. How about you? How was your weekend?
Busy.
Busy.
What did I... Oh, Sunday I was at the Extra Life Gaming Convention. Bob After Dark had an appearance there. We had a table set up in Ravenswood in Chicago, the North End. So hello, everybody that I met through the convention scene that's tuning into the episode for the first time. So it's nice to see all of your beautiful faces. And it's a pleasure to have all of you guys.
And for the people that are watching on the YouTube, you notice last week was kind of our second season debut there, Bob. And, we started off in there with Casey into the old studio. Now they built this
This is such a nice improvement. I am not that the old room was an improvement, but I think I even like this better than the old studio itself. Like, I have no glass between me and you.
That's true. You can jump right over.
You can throw stuff at him.
And my cadence is no longer weird, right?
Your cadence,
because normally, give you guys an idea, my desk would be right front and center of one camera, and then Count would be on the other side of the room behind glass, traditional producer, producer sort of a thing. There is no glass now, so it's me and Count. It's more intimate, if you will.
And I like the T-shirt, by the way, there,
Bob.
Thank
you. I got it off some guy.
There you go. But one of the men responsible for improving the studio is sitting right next to you there.
Yes, and I am. You always introduce the guests. We have two of them.
Let me introduce here. We got a couple guests here. A surprise guest as well on the end there. First up, we have Chuck Pullen. Of course, you could hear him regularly on WJLBD's airwaves.
Not that you want to, but you could if you want.
Forced to.
The winter, what's it called now? The winter?
Well, it's called Chuck Space Disco because we can't spell anything right
Chuck
on the
Space
graphics.
Disco.
So it becomes Chuck Space Disco. Mondays on WJLB.
It's bright and early at 6 a.m.
With my co-host, Bob Before Dark. Bob Starkey, who helped us build the studio over the weekend.
Oh, there's a Bob Before Dark now.
Before Dark, yes.
So there's a Bob Before Dark, and now there's a Bob After Dark.
He should name his show Bob Before Dark.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a crossover we need to see soon.
Is there any crossover between me and other Bob? Does he talk about
You could just come in on Friday and go, they got the wrong Bob. We'll
April Fool's Day.
Right, there you go.
Meet at dark.
There you go.
Bob's at dark.
Yeah, Evil Bob.
Bob at Dusk.
Which one's evil? We'll let the crowd decide.
Absolutely.
Also joining Chuck there on the end, an invited guest. We didn't know if he was going to show up. He's got a busy schedule. He's making the rounds. Luke Miller with 2 eyes.
Two eyes.
Miiller.
Paranormal expert as well. Here to lend my expertise to the subject.
Self-proclaimed.
I don't know if you noticed, Bob. Luke took that vampire class. Remember we had those professors?
Yes, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows if you got a question about vampires, Luke might be able to answer.
Too bad we're not talking about vampires
Yeah.
this week.
Come back next week.
Oh, dang it. I thought that was the topic today. Dang it.
Yeah, I know.
It might
I
trigger
walked
the
in the
vampires,
studio. Somebody answered. I saw 3 cars. I'm like, why is there 3 cars in the
You were
parking
spooked
lot?
out.
And then Luke answered the door. I'm like, what are you doing here? Are you doing shots of hot sauce during the show, by the
No,
way?
I don't know. You know what this is from?
Don't be
I don't
showing
know,
the label.
just-
Can't show the label.
And just hot sauce.
Well, it's
Somebody-
Region Hot Sauce.
it's Region
so
Hot
It's
Sauce.
local. It's
Right.
local.
Okay.
Yeah. So Region Hot Sauce, wherever you buy your hot sauces, it's
You could be sponsoring Bob After Dark Region Hot Sauce.
You could, yeah.
I won't be eating it, but Count Panic will be happy.
maybe
to
they
eat
make
it.
a mild sauce, Bob.
I would need like extra mild. I have what they call the Polish tongue. I don't do the spicy thing.
Maybe like a cold sauce.
Your hot sauce is mayonnaise, is what you're
I
saying.
was going to say it's marinara. You see. All right. So Count. Did you know if this is your first time watching Bob After Dark?
For some, yes.
For some, yes. This is your weekliest show where we talk about legends, lore, and supernatural things that go bump in the night, lights in the sky, weird cryptid stories, and of course, Count Panic's favorite 1990s carnival toy that you would win. And I have a reason for bringing this up.
Favorite 1990s carnival toy?
You know what I mean? Like you're at the carnival.
How about a goldfish?
That's a good answer.
It's not a toy, but it's
it's a toy.
I won a goldfish before.
You did win a goldfish.
It lasted a while. A couple
But
of them. They lasted
do you remember in the 90s, the carnivals had the iridescent alien like necklaces you could win
Yeah.
and the giant stuffed aliens? That's what we're talking about this
Oh,
week.
that's a good tie-in.
I finally get to do it. The aliens.
Did you? Oh, the aliens.
The aliens thing when we got to meet Giorgio from Ancient Aliens back last May. It was a lot of fun. We interviewed him for Bob After Dark.
Think about it. His career is based on aliens.
His career is literally based on aliens. Mine is not aliens. We already got the finger quotes going on here, and we're not even 5 minutes into the show yet.
Wow. We got the trigger ready to go if need be.
The bleep.
The bleep.
Chuck's here. I can't imagine the people are going to call in tonight.
We're just going to put a big black box on the middle of the screen.
That's what thing I got to bring up here too. So the phone lines, we think they're going to work here tonight. I got to keep looking back though. There's the only complaint about the studio. They should have maybe put this TV up there.
That's what we were going to put over here. That's what we were working on, but we'll get it for next week.
Because Adrian.
Now we don't know if there's anybody calling either, so that's
Yeah.
so we'll get that going.
Okay, but I'm going to keep an eye on it here.
We're making a list.
I'll have to sit like this. I
Right.
think.
But you can call in 219-845-1100 at any point throughout the show because this is a special show. Usually we split the show up into 2 parts where we talk about the weird spooky news.
Oh
of the
wait,
week.
now it's a show session ended. So let me see if I can get us back on here.
Are we offline?
No,
the calls.
I'll reboot it.
And also, I was going to mention you're in the squeaky chair, so you'll hear him just back and forth.
Well,
back
it
and
shows
forth.
that he's working.
I'm going to love to edit that out later. That squeak back and forth. It's going to be lovely. And by the way, when I mean I'm going to edit it out, I am not editing out the squeak because it's just going to be something I can't do. But we'll definitely give it a shot. So
figure it out.
Count will have to scooch very gently.
Okay, so now I think got the phone lines up and running. 219-845-1100. If you want to call in, 219-845-1100.
All right, so let's introduce our guests real quick. I know you introduced them, but let's
did
get to
that.
let's get to know our
Oh,
guests
okay.
a little bit here.
All right.
Let's start with Chuck. Chuck, who are you? You've been on the show before as like a local historian and paranormal enthusiast, but you're here on a whole different level tonight.
Yeah, I stop in from time to time.
Time.
From time to time.
Yes.
So yeah, I am, a local expert on all things that I've decided I'm an expert on, and but this is actually one of my things that I really am an expert on, and we'll get into that later. But this is something I've been dying to get you to talk about for a long time because I think it's an interesting crossover between my morning show and your After Dark show.
Yes. We have a caller already.
Yeah, before we get to Luke, let's take this phone call to see if it works.
Yes. Caller, you're on the air.
Curious. Let's try it. Hit talk.
Did you turn them up on the board?
Hey, caller. Yep, they're on the board. Hey, caller. Hey, caller.
So close.
So close. Try again, guys. 219-845-11.
How does he do this? How does he do this?
I don't know how to. Let's see.
You should have had me guessed from over there.
Let me drop him.
Are you dropping yourself? You realize that you're in the queue.
I hit drop.
But I'm saying
drop
the first person in there is you. You realize that, right?
Let's try this here.
So there's one person in there that's you, okay?
Yeah.
That's you. Don't
That's
hang
me.
up on
Don't
you.
drop yourself.
Don't drop myself. All right, let me delete that. Okay, I'm in here.
And the phones are up over here on the board.
Yeah, they're up on the board here. So
Happy,
we'll see.
happy Tuesday night, everybody. Bob After Dark, technical difficulty.
The witching
department.
hour already.
I miss the old phone lines. You know that?
They'll be back soon.
You sure?
These new ones cost $4.99 a minute. We'll be back to the old ones soon.
The bill's already at $17.90 just for tonight. So far.
All right, Luke, tell us a little bit about yourself while Count figures out why we lost a caller.
Yep, I'm based here in Hammond as well. And actually, to be serious, why I'm on here is that I have an irrational fear, or formerly did, of aliens. I mean, from playing Fallout 4, they had a lot of aliens in there, and I had one freak encounter where there was like a mass of them. So like 5 or 6 years, I was irrationally afraid.
I was hoping you were going to say clowns because I'm wearing my Killer Clowns from Outer Space shirt.
Yes.
So this is more of overcoming fears than anything.
We're breaking barriers here is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if this works.
Oh, we have a caller again.
Hey, caller.
How does he do this?
I don't
How
think
do
it's
you
going
do
to work
this?
tonight, folks. But
Okay,
we'll drop
it will
down.
work. It's been
All
working
right.
for weeks.
I think I just got to re-sign into this thing like I did last week, so I'm going to do that.
I'm going to take a look over his
Do
shoulder.
you know how to do it? No, how about I go?
but I'm gonna
Okay,
do
go ahead.
All right.
I will sit here and look at the camera and tell you guys. So usually we split the show up and we give you the weird, spooky news of the week, and then the second part's the lore of the week.
Tricolor.
But we have a very special episode this week, and that is because the shot heard around the world earlier this month that we couldn't cover last week because we had a guest was 2 lines in a lightning dialogue between former President Barack Obama and a podcaster by the name of Brian Tyler Cohen. I don't have permission to use the clips, so I'm gonna reenact it the best way I can.
Do you want to do him and I'll do the president?
Yes, that'd be great. Are aliens real?
Well, I don't have the script though. You didn't-
Okay.
Is it on your thing? Here, hang on.
Here,
hold on.
hold on. There,
I was like, I thought I remembered what he said, but I don't want to misquote him.
There we go. So Barack Obama says, and I quote in return, "They're real."
So you said, are they real?
Are aliens real?
They are real, but I haven't seen them.
Oh, and instead of pressing on the question, we just kind of scoffed over it. And it was the shot heard around the world to one group of people, and the rest of the people just didn't seem to either notice and or care that Barack Obama, former president of the United States, said aliens are real.
No, but here's the thing, though. This is not news. I was watching an old clip of him on Jimmy Kimmel years ago. This is something he said repeatedly. So I don't know. It's nice that it's making the rounds, but this is something he's talked about quite a bit, as have most other presidents in recent history. And that's what we're going to get into later tonight.
Exactly, including the current president's even brought up an interest now with declassification, but we'll get to that. Count, how's it looking back there?
Not great, but we're going to figure this out here. All right.
Okay, Luke, do you want to tap in over here?
We're up to $35 for Jed's phone line right now. Let's see.
He's going to call us in the middle of the show and go, who's using my credit card?
This show might be the last show.
This is the last. Season 2, episode 2. Everybody,
All right, wait. Now we're going to go back in the host show mode. So let's see. Let's try this. Let's take some calls here. Let's talk.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, caller, you're on the air. Hello. Nothing on that person. Let me try this other one. Let's drop that one. It might be just a bad line with that person, so let me drop that.
It's VoIP. There is no such thing as a bad
So let me
line.
talk with this one. Let's
Bob
see what's
After
happening.
Dark is not sponsored.
Hey,
by
caller. Hey, caller, you're on the air.
Chuck, please go safe.
Okay.
Yeah, none of this works here.
None of
Chuck,
this
you want
works
to come
here.
over here?
5 seconds later. Oh, it works now. Okay, I'm going to go unplug myself.
All right,
You
please do.
talk amongst
Okay,
yourselves.
absolutely. So, shot heard around the world just recently, and then as of just a couple weeks ago, or last week, former President Barack Obama has backtracked and said not that the aliens were real because he was answering in the fashion of the lightning round questions. There was no follow-up, but if I was in the if I was in the situation and I was the interviewee, I think I would have stopped everything I was doing and been like, "Excuse me." But the description that former President Barack Obama used in the thing was their aliens aren't being kept in the Area 51. There's no, and if there was aliens being kept at Area 51, then that would mean that it would be the biggest conspiracy because they even kept it away from the President of the United States. Fast forward, not much longer after that, current President Donald Trump came out and said Barack Obama is talking on, and I quote, classified information, and I quote, he shouldn't be doing that. And he said to follow up afterwards was the concept that, that he was going to release all declassified information on aliens, UFOs, UAPs, and the like. So we're officially in the Wild West on the concept of this these aliens discussion and everything else. So what's your take on that, Luke, as we're currently dealing with the technical difficulties?
Well, I've got to tell you at first, this isn't the first time, even with Trump discussing the aliens and trying to release files, right? Because I feel like before he has already discussed this, saying that, you know, I'm going to try to have complete transparency, and this isn't talking about other files, this is talking about aliens. And I know that even before him, in 2022, there was a hearing for the first time in 50 years with the House of Representatives talking about UFOs. And then in 2024, they released a report saying, oh, there's no conclusive evidence that the U.S. had any direct evidence. So I'm a skeptic, to put it bluntly. I don't know if even if there is information, if the government would be willing to reveal that.
I don't think they have a choice now but to reveal what they have. I mean, it'll probably come out heavily redacted, but in the very least, we'll have something.
No, yeah, well, I mean, even if they do reveal something, right, like a Freedom of Information Act, right, how much can they reveal? How much do you think they'll reveal?
I don't know. If you think about it from throughout time on what the government knows and has said about aliens from the past 50 years up till now, even the past probably 100 up till now, they've escaped around the question very hard, and, you know, there's only so many weather balloons up in the atmosphere before you start which, as a skeptic, I got to ask you, how are you still a skeptic despite all of this information coming out, including former President Barack Obama saying they're real?
Well, I'm skeptical that I'm not skeptical that there's aliens and that there's studies and there's been work being done.
My apologies, folks. I got you.
I'm a skeptic that any information proving such will be released. I think that if it's been kept under wraps for this long, that why would they release it now? Just because people want them to? People have wanted transparency on this for a very long time.
And I think transparency is very important. Sorry, folks, you're hearing our robot producer in the background trying to get us reconnected.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. Yeah, I know, right? I had...
It's speech jamming.
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web.
I was listening to this last week and I was like, oh my gosh, it was just funny. It's
I sat through last week. I sat through and tried to edit the episode.
It's tough.
I went through. I looked at it and I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to edit any of this out because it's not possible. I had like a 15-minute edit I had to do at the beginning of the show to like fix the way that the queue worked. And then I started listening to the phone line issues, and I'm like, you know what? No, it's not important. It's important, but people know what they're getting into. They listen to the show.
It's part of the heart and ethos of this show. You have to take the rough with the beautiful.
Yes. So, what do you think we're going to be getting out of these new, really updated files from the government?
Let's try this.
Hello,
can you hear us? Hello? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
I hear the voice.
Oh, caller, you're on the air. Hold on once, caller. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there.
Let me crank you up.
Look at Chuck.
People were calling in. He forgot for you to call him. As it turns out, as an
I think it's working. Can we hear? Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you guys.
Oh,
Can you hear
Excellent.
me?
Hey, yes, we can. Caller, you're on the air. Sorry about that. Hello, who are you? Where are you calling from?
This is John from Wisconsin. I was talking to you earlier on Facebook Messenger today.
Hey, John from Wisconsin. What's on your mind tonight, pal?
No, not much. I feel really glad that I was able to get through. I was the one that was calling the last 5 times. So
There you go.
Hey, well, there
Got
we
him
go.
Someone had to be the success.
now I feel bad because I made one of your guests get up to actually.
He had to get up.
It wasn't you. It was the producer.
Well, here's the thing.
So let me say what I said last week.
Yeah.
I said we hand wrote a whole sheet of instructions. Tony followed approximately half of it.
I followed half.
And he was like, shh, the count.
You know what? Half
You're
of
breaking the fourth
sometimes
wall
is all
here.
you need.
The count didn't follow directions. Shocked, I know.
didn't count the instructions.
The count,
But
yeah.
You're in luck, John from Wisconsin, because Chuck doubles as our engineer, so he's the guest and our engineer.
That's
tonight.
why you invited me.
You're finding
tonight,
out the
let's be
real
honest.
reason why he's
Yes,
here.
now
And he'll
you
be
know
here
why
next
I'm
week as well. Engineer.
From now on.
Yeah.
He's here until further notice.
On-site engineer till the studio's fixed.
John, I appreciate
Hey, I
it.
just wanted to say I appreciate you guys a lot. I'm really glad you're doing a show about aliens. That's really shocking, actually. I know you've mentioned them before, and you even say it in your intro, and you say lights in the sky. But obviously you're more of a paranormal show. But do you believe in all the aliens, Bob? So you got your Greys, your reptiles, reptilians, I should say.
Oh, man.
There's Nordics. There's there's a whole bunch more.
Okay, I'm going
Mention ones I
to
know.
I'm going to preface this by saying there is a very good reason why we don't. In the introduction, I mentioned the lights in the sky thing. We do a lot of news on aliens and covering it, but I don't cover a lot of aliens in the long form topic because I'm not a UFOologist. UFOologists are better equipped to talk about these sort of things than I am. However, I am equipped to talk about them, and I shouldn't be hiding the concept that I know what I'm talking about to an extent. And that that and the other thing is when you get into aliens, you start really dancing into the conspiracy theory territory, which is what I've been I always try to avoid, and I always try
Just
to.
like Chuck.
Well, okay, here's what I was going to say is that go ahead, caller.
No, I was just going to say, you play a UFOologist on TV, though.
I do. So that's why we're doing it. And I'm glad UFOlogy and aliens do fall into the realm of the paranormal. I say it all the time. We're a bowling league. I deal in ghost and cryptids mostly, but I do know my aliens. True crime falls into that realm. I'm not a true crime person, but maybe someday I'll get more into that. I'm a true crime person outside the show, but we don't talk about it too much on here. However, there are crossover between the two. And tonight we're going to dive in, and this is going to probably be one of the more heated episodes we've ever had on the show. So,
Wow.
Looking forward to that.
Congratulations, Luke.
I'm the moderator.
I just want to say hello to both your guests, too. And you guys seem very interesting. I can't wait to see what you guys say. And I'm actually shocked that I'd eat your John, the John that you know,
Well,
to be the first caller. I can't believe I beat
So
him.
hit the button. You can bring them in too.
I could do
Go
two
ahead.
Johns
Let's
at once?
Let's find out. Hit it.
hold
Let's
on.
see.
Let me try this. 'cause
Don't
I
hang
think
up on
this is him
yourself.
Right here.
Go ahead. Hit
John
it.
and John.
Let me see if this works here.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Conference call.
Oh my gosh, we have
Hey,
the two.
now wait a minute. Now listen.
I didn't
now
know we could
wait.
do that.
John's
How
After Dark.
spooky is this? This John from John from Wisconsin's on the line, right?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, so this John from Wisconsin says he called 6 times. I called 6 times. I couldn't get through. So, Chuck, if you verify, you
So-
can verify that with the count.
John, here's the
'cause I
problem.
texted him about 5 minutes ago.
John, we need
and
to.
time elapsed. So I just didn't text him that I called 6 times.
John, I
So he
don't
called 6
know.
and I called 6.
So here's the thing, John. I don't know who raised this count.
And
But
he gets-
they
and
never
he's
taught
from
him how to
Wisconsin, and he
follow
gets
directions.
through quicker than me.
So I don't know who we can blame for that one. So the count can't follow directions.
I got half the page right.
I don't know.
It might be a
I don't know
reading
who
issue.
raised this count up.
I got the
but
page right. Half the page.
Well, maybe it's the aliens screwing around with the tower.
Maybe.
Between the ghost and the
exactly what it
aliens.
is.
Well, you know what? I gotta admit, I didn't know you could do this. So do you have like callers on the morning show fight now?
They don't want this information to get out.
No, this is top secret. Only you guys get to do this.
Oh, can you imagine the morning show with this stuff?
That's what I said. I'm just going to put them all on the air and just walk out.
Like a battle royale.
Yeah.
Just let them fight it out.
See who's the loudest.
You getting them be ready for that censor button.
Aye, aye, aye.
Well, Johns, what's on your
So we
mind
could
tonight?
actually have, so Chuck, we could actually have Mad Mac and somebody else arguing at the same time on the air.
Don't encourage them.
Just don't even say it out loud.
Don't encourage
Now
them.
listen, they're calling into the wrong show tonight. If they're
Hey, I don't know nothing.
Well, that's
I
nice.
don't know nothing, but hey, Luke, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm, yeah, of course.
Luke.
Yes?
Hey, Luke.
Hello? Are you out there?
Can you hear me, Luke?
Are you out there?
Maybe we jinxed it by putting too many people
you
in
hear
at the same
Luke?
time.
Was my voice knocked
Hey,
off?
Luke,
You
can
added
you
two
hear me?
Johns and you lost me.
John, can you hear us?
I could hear you,
I'm
but I
there.
can't hear. I'm asking about Luke.
I don't think you can hear Luke
Which
though.
shot are you talking about?
Any of the Johns? Can you hear the third? Can you hear the third guest or the second
The
guest?
one John said that I was an interesting guest, so you could hear me at some point.
Yeah, well, which John are you talking about?
Wait, you can hear me then.
I thought you meant the other John. See, this is why this is confusing. Now another John's going to call it. Is it going to be chaos?
We have a third John now. That wants
Do
to
we have
come
another third caller?
on. And I'm John. No, we're good right now.
Okay.
Wait, can you hear Luke, John?
No, I can't hear. No, I'll
But you responded
I
to
don't
me.
even know who's talking now. I think I'm talking to the other John.
No, that's not the other John. You're talking to Luke.
Now we understand why you don't put everybody on at the same time.
I think we might have lost the other John.
And by the way, it's only an hour-long show,
Hey,
so we
Luke.
need to...
Yes,
Hey, Luke.
John too.
John, Luke, can you
I
hear you,
didn't know.
John?
I didn't know you need this. You were this skeptical about aliens. What brought this all on?
No, like I said,
How did you?
I'm very fearful of aliens, so I'm hoping that I can overcome my fear tonight. I view Chuck like a father figure.
And I don't.
I have a lot of trust in
I
Chuck.
I don't know anything about Obama and stuff. Whatever he said. But didn't Trump just last week say he wanted all this declassified?
Yes.
And
Well,
get this out on the
but-
air, whether there's aliens or not.
So to be fair, though, John, so has every president for the last 50 years. President Clinton, for instance, literally his first day said, I'm going to send somebody to Area 51. And then he came back and said, they won't tell me anything. So, I mean, again, this is pretty much, and pretty much every president literally in your lifetime has said, I want to find out about the aliens. And they said, Mr. President, this is need to know, and you don't need to know, with the exception of the Bushes, but that's another story for another time. But for the most part, every president has asked about it, and they've told him the exact same thing. It's need to know, and you don't need to know. And so that becomes the question is even now we have UAP hearings in Congress, and they're being told the same thing. We can't tell you, and we have to go into a skiff and all this stuff. Well, who's in charge then? If the president and Congress is not allowed to know about these things, then who's making that decision? And that's where we really get into the weeds about who's running the country and who's deciding who gets to know about aliens and who doesn't.
Well, Chuck, who's blocking?
Okay, so what do you think about? So what do you think about that? Then, yeah, that's a good point. If the president and Congress can't, tell the federal, I mean, they're the boss of the federal. Then who can? And
Right.
why is it such a big secret?
And that's why we
in
need,
your opinion,
right? No, and I mean that's the thing is we have several members of Congress that are saying, that's not how this works. You don't get to tell us. You're a bureaucrat. You don't get to tell the elected officials. We don't need to know. And they've been going back and forth about this with the UAP hearings for several years now.
2022.
And if you ever watch these hearings, it's really interesting because they bring in people, members of the Navy, legitimate people, and they all get stonewalled. And it's an amazing thing to see it because it really makes you question who's in charge at that point.
Well, what do you mean
what
they
you're
get
saying,
stoned?
people who have actual knowledge that the possibility of aliens exist are being denied by people in Congress because they don't want to hear the
Right.
the
So
facts or
this
the
goes back to the origin story of the conspiracy, going all the way back to Roswell. Is the idea? I was watching a show earlier, and there's a guy that's got a documentary coming out, and he talks about the idea that this is actually basically like another space race. So you've got the three countries, the United States, Russia, and China, all retrieving craft and all trying to reverse engineer it. So this is a filmmaker, Dan Farrar. He was on a Bill Maher not too long ago, and he's doing a documentary about this. And basically the idea is there's two things happening. The one is that our government historically since Roswell has tried to say, well, if you saw craft, if you saw anything, they try to delegitimize you. I mean, even police officers, pilots, anybody that came out and said, hey, I saw something, they would try to basically ruin your life in a lot of cases. And so this idea of they made it a stigma to talk about aliens, but then in the back, they're trying to, going back to Roswell and other famous crashes, they're trying to deconstruct and figure out the technology. So that becomes the conspiracy is, are they doing it because they don't think Americans can handle it? Or is there the secret second Cold War happening and whoever, reverse engineers the technology first is going to win? And that's sort of the conspiracy, that this is much bigger than just, lights in the sky. This is about, actual, global politics kind of thing.
So do you personally think that there are aliens?
Stick around and find out, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then, well, real quickly then, hey, Luke, if let's say there is some declassification, let's say that they say there are aliens. So what would your reaction be when you heard that, if you hear that news, being that you're fearful of them?
Well, I wouldn't be shocked. And I wouldn't really be afraid because, I mean, if that information's already out there, then obviously they aren't roaming the streets, at least not in a very visible way. They wouldn't be that much of a threat. It seems like they're under control. But it just wouldn't be a shock to me because I feel like we have such a vast universe already that the fact that there wouldn't be life would be more shocking than the fact that there is non-human life. Extraterrestrial, rather.
But here's the other interesting question is, because of the way things are in this country, I always say if a president, regardless of politics, came out and said, hey, I've got proof of aliens, half this country wouldn't believe him anyway, right? So, I mean, that's sort of an interesting thing with even like what happened earlier tonight. Half this country isn't going to believe whatever he says. So that becomes another problem, is now you have this legitimacy problem. So again, I think it's bigger than, it has to be bigger than one man. It can't be, well, President Trump or President Obama. I mean, it needs to be this bipartisan sort of coming together, which that's not going to happen in any case under any circumstances, short of like an Independence Day scenario. And that's what they keep saying is like, short of that scenario where all of us have to come together like an Independence Day, short of that, we're not going to agree on anything. And that's sort of the problem.
Bob?
Yeah,
Who was the president that said that?
We still have Bolt Johns on.
Yeah, Bolt Johns on. I'm hearing voices in my head.
No, go ahead. Let the callers. We all stepped on
Okay,
everybody.
that's very interesting. You know what? I'll let you guys go for other callers, and I'll keep listening. And thanks for being on it.
Thanks for calling in,
Dr.
Johns.
John.
We appreciate you.
All right. Yep. All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you,
Take care.
Johns. I'm going to drop both Johns there.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. John from Wisconsin. John from the region. Also on YouTube, a couple people's chiming in. Dad Bod Walkin'.
Hey.
Uh-oh. How did he find this chat room?
He says, odd phone conversation. I think he's referring to John's calling it. But he also says, whoever is the producer tonight, save that camera position.
Oh, he likes your
He likes
camera
that
position.
camera position. Right
Well, and
there.
again, that's Bob before dusk.
Bob
so.
before dusk there. Also, Vixis chiming in. She has some messages here. Let's see. She's got a lot of good questions. I know you can't see that, Bob, on your end.
No,
right?
I can't. So you'll have to
comments on Tom DeLonge.
Tom DeLonge.
DeLonge of Tom DeLonge of Blink-182. Alien Disclosure with Alien Disclosure. Comments about him and Alien Disclosure.
Oh man, he was one of the celebrities that testified not that long ago. He was at the congressional hearing, and he's been one of the speeding forces behind trying to release this information. I'm not sure where Tom stands on current President Donald Trump releasing the alien information. I'm sure he's ecstatic because this is just confirming further what his research and all of his beliefs are true too. So that's my answer on the Tom DeLonge thing. Big fan.
But let me correct you a little bit though, because remember, going back to the branches of government, is that the president is asking the 3-letter agencies, NSA, CIA, and the 4-letter agency of NASA, and et cetera, to release what they have. But again, that goes back to that stonewalling of the executive branch of, he could say, hey, release those files, and they can say, well, make us.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and that's the thing, is that there's really no mechanism. So, I mean, again, there's legal. Is he going to go to the Supreme Court and say, I demand that I get these files? Could they say, well, here's 10,000 pages, take it or leave it? I mean, again, you look at anything, like even look at, same thing's been happening with the JFK files. There's still lots of stuff that hasn't come out. And, he said he was going to release it. And so there's this idea of, you have the executive branch saying, hey, I want those files. And they go, well, we'll give you what we feel like giving you, or we'll redact it and give you what we feel like. And that becomes the big question, is there's really no mechanism, like short of, now are you really going to get into this big battle in Washington just to try to get these files? And that's sort of the thing they know. They're like, we just have to wait you out. You put in a request, we go, give us 6 months. And then you go, well, here's what we got. I mean, he's only there for a few more years, right? I mean, again, they know they're going to outlast this guy and the next guy and the next guy. And that's kind of the point, is they know we can outlast this guy and the next guy will come in and we'll tell him we already did that, But that goes just to what you said earlier about, it needs to be the congressional and it needs to be the legislative branch that needs to step in with bipartisan support, because that can override the executive, long-lasting too. So it's not even just a 3.5, 4-year wait. Right.
It's a more longer-lasting.
But again, you need both sides to come together and agree, which they're not going to do on anything, and that's the problem. We need them to agree to say we're going to follow this through, regardless of who's in control, regardless of what name's in charge. We are going to see this through to the end, and that's the only way this is going to work.
I want to point out one thing, folks. Long-term listeners of the show are probably very confused why we're using the term bipartisan on Bob After Dark.
Well, everybody needs to get along. How about that?
That's fair.
We all just need to get along.
We have another caller.
We do. Let's see if this works.
Okay,
here.
let's see if it works. Caller, you're on, hopefully, the air.
Hey, caller.
Well, good evening, gentlemen. Is this bargain bonanza or what?
I have one bird cage for sale, $5. See, I'm the only one in the room.
Right, there you go.
I'm the only one in the room old enough to get
Hello.
that joke. I'm the only one in the room old enough to get that joke, by the way. I was there for bargain bonanza.
This is Bill from EC.
Hey, Bill from EC. Yeah. How's it going? Long time no talk, Bill.
Well, I didn't know you guys were on till last week. I caught half of your show, so
hopefully the good half.
And I knew you guys were on, but it's an interesting discussion. But doesn't this, the alien thing, doesn't this go back to Eisenhower?
So I would say this really started with Roswell, but again, so there are all kinds of interesting stories, so like Jimmy Carter, for instance, saw, was it Jimmy Carter that saw a UFO? Yes. There was a story with Richard Nixon and Jackie Gleason. Do you know this story?
I do not.
Oh, this is a fun story. I'll have to tell it to you. So, I mean, there is a long history of presidents and aliens. I mean, again, this is nothing new, but yeah, going back to your point about Eisenhower and even Kennedy and things like that, you could really get into I was watching something the other day where they were blaming aliens for JFK's assassination. So, I mean, you could really get into the weeds on these stories about how they're related and, again, but that goes back to the idea that if something happened in Roswell or in that time frame and they recovered a craft, the military-industrial complex took hold of it. And this isn't new. This is something even recently. We hear stories about, a craft crashing in, Bolivia or something, and all of a sudden black helicopters show up and pick it up, right? So, I mean, again, this is nothing new. And if you believe this idea that it's sort of a new space race where you've got multiple countries trying to reverse engineer, it makes perfect sense that they wouldn't want anybody to know. And also, if you know your American history about developing the atomic bomb, or, stealth technology, they're very good. They've been very good about keeping secrets, right? This whole idea about compartmentalization and keeping it from the public, which is both a blessing and a curse. And one way you keep it secret, another way, imagine the idea that you have alien technology, but only a handful of people, like the Bob Lazars of the world, are the only ones that are allowed to see it. MIT doesn't get to borrow a piece of spacecraft and test it, right? So, I mean, again, it's like you're shutting out some of the most brilliant minds in the world because you want to keep it a secret. So it's an interesting thing. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, is this Chuck I'm talking to?
It is, sir.
Chuck.
Chuck stayed up late tonight.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay, well, I enjoy your work on WGLB.
Thank you.
But I mean, there's got to
somebody.
Yeah, well, I listen. I've been listening for a long time.
You've been listening from 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday.
Yeah, well, there's got to be something, because you mentioned these airline pilots. They see this or these lights, and then after that, you never hear from them,
right?
Anymore. So.
Well, even the incident with the as we call them, the Tic Tac UFOs. I mean, multiple Navy ships picked them up on radar. We have images from a fighter jet, legitimate footage that's never been debunked of this thing. And again, so think about it from a military perspective: is you have this craft that you can't identify. Is it a Chinese drone? Is it alien technology? This thing can go, tens of thousands of feet in seconds. Something that, you can't even track this thing, let alone you couldn't fight it, right? And I mean, I think that's part of the problem is our military doesn't want to come out and say, hey, there's this thing. We don't know what they are. We don't know how, we can't track them. We can't fight them. We pretty much are at their mercy, right? I mean, I think that's what our government, that's been, the strongest nation, strongest military for decades now, arguably since World War II, they don't want to come out and say, hey, we're not the strongest. There's these craft that can easily defeat our defenses. They can shut down our nuclear power plants and all kinds of things. So, I mean, I think a lot of that is just our American government doesn't want to come out and say, hey, we don't know what this is, and we don't know how to fight it if we needed to.
They don't want to say that the aliens are the strongest.
Aliens.
Yeah, well, I can see the point. You don't want to start a panic either. Not panic.
A panic.
Hey.
I got that. Okay, all right. Well, listen, I'm gonna because I ran into John, the other one for me, the Regent, at a restaurant, and I was asking him how come you guys were not, so he explained to me.
Hiatus, yeah.
Well, it was a season break, but now we're back for season 2 after it only took us 7 years, but we got it.
Thank you, Bill, for chiming in.
Bill, we appreciate the call.
Okay, you guys take care.
Take
you
care.
too, Bill.
Bye.
Bye, Bill. Also, chiming into the YouTubes.
Yes.
Vixen says, can we have Chuck on every month for Alien Time?
I have to ask my wife.
That could be a segment.
She's like, are you zooming in? I go, no, I'm going to the studio. What's past your bedtime?
Bring her with you next time. She'll be on the show, too.
Bring them in. Come on, let's bring everybody into
Well,
the
and again,
studio.
so this is the thing. So, my wheelhouse is politics, and I know Bob's always like, oh, yeah, you don't want to get mixed up in that, and I don't blame any of you for not wanting to. But again, this is that one topic that you and I have a good crossover because the story of UFOs since going back to Roswell for the last, almost 100 years is a story about a government cover-up. X-Files, Majestic 12, Project Blue Book. I mean, the story of aliens is the story of a government cover-up. And that's sort of the thing is like, at this point, the government cover-up to me is a bigger story than the aliens, right? I mean, again, for me as somebody who talks about government spending and things like that, how many billions of dollars have we spent hiding this? How many billions and maybe trillions have we spent trying to reverse engineer this technology under black budget projects? And again, what are we, the taxpayers going to see from this?
We also have Dad Bod walk-in saying, because the presidents are the lizard people, but really, I completely buy the ancient alien theories. So Dad Bod walking, Bob.
Right.
There,
I mean, go ahead.
Also, Windstorm wants to ask, Chuck, do you know the story about Betty and Barney Hill?
Right.
Yes.
And again, perfect example of people that have been, they basically ruined their life. There are people and
what is the story about that?
Well, I got a couple stories. I was going to do
the Hill story is an episode all its own.
Oh, okay.
I will put a pin in that. Maybe we will revisit that next week or the week following.
Why don't we do it in a month or so?
Yeah, we'll do it in a month because that one's But
how about we do a whole episode about these? I mean, I think that was also an incident where there was a police officer that saw it. I mean, again, like he literally lost his career. People have lost their lives, taken their lives because the ridicule from this. So again, I mean, that's sort of the thing, the stigma of seeing it. Even going back to, like President Carter and stuff like that, it's like there are so many people that are afraid. They tell pilots. I've heard pilots talk about, you can hear it. There's these guys that watch radars and they listen to air traffic control all day long. Pilots see stuff and the ATC, the air traffic control, no, you didn't see anything. Don't say anything. They literally tell them, we all see it. I know people that worked at O'Hare. O'Hare had some famous UFO incidents back in the 70s. They just said, no, don't say anything because you will get grounded if you do. So that's a crazy thing that there are people that, again, a pilot should have, former, a lot of these guys, former military, former Navy, and they have good eyes. They're trained to spot things, and they tell them, no, you didn't see it. You know what I mean? And that's the stigma that comes along with seeing a UFO.
I would agree. Count what's going on over there.
Just make it. Well, that's the last one that was there. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you want to
We're caught up.
do you want to talk about the Jackie Gleason story?
Yes, I would love to hear
So
that.
this is really interesting, and this goes back to, in a way, hearing this story, I said, now I understand why they would. This is like an argument for not telling the president. Okay, so Jackie Gleason. Everybody knows Jackie Gleason. Bang Zoom Right to the Moon,
Yes.
and Smokey and the Bandit. So he was out golfing with President Nixon in 1974, as you tend to do. You go golfing with the president. This was actually in the middle of right before, right on the time of Watergate, right before it. So they're out golfing, and then as you do, you go out drinking afterwards.
Of course.
Jackie Gleason drinking putting a few back with President Nixon, who then says. He starts asking me the same question any of us, like Jaden Smith asked, Barack Obama. Hey, what about the aliens? And of course, Nixon, after having a few, says, "You want to see them?"
How have I never heard this before? This is brilliant.
So the story goes that President Nixon takes Jackie Gleason unannounced in an unmarked car to Homestead Air Force Base in Florida. I think I'm trying to think if that was the home of the Blue Angels, but basically he takes them to a base, just walks in. Hey, everybody, President Nixon here, Jackie Gleason, you know him from, the Honeymooners. They go, yeah, sure thing, sir. They walk in and he shows Jackie Gleason a lab with grays. He says they were in tubes, I guess like preserved, you know what I mean? Like you
like
would
a
see,
cryo chamber,
like you would see,
like in a tank or something,
like in a lab, right? In a tank. So he said, he just takes them there, and then Jackie Gleason goes home, and Jackie Gleason said he swore an oath never to talk about it. They're good friends. And then his wife comes out years later. And again, there's like a whole thing. They're getting a divorce. And obviously Nixon's going through Watergate. But his wife kind of came out and said, Jackie comes home. He was all distraught, couldn't sleep. And finally he says, the president took me to see aliens at this Air Force base. And it really messed him up for a while because you're like one of the few people in the country that knows there are aliens and you can't say anything about it. So she's like, I believe him. I thought it seemed, he seemed real about it. He was distraught about it. So, I mean, imagine that. Like, you're just sitting there, you're like guarding the base one night, and the president pulls up in an old Cadillac. It's like, hey, I got Jackie Gleason here. We're going to go look at the aliens. But again, that goes to the point is imagine if the president knew about it, like this current president, previous presidents, where it's like, hey, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to have $100,000 plate fundraiser. And you can come hang out with me at Area 51 and meet some aliens. You know what I mean? Like how many politicians would take advantage of that and go, hey, you write a big enough check, I'll take you to Area 51.
That would be the Bob After Dark GoFundMe. That'd be
but
then you're going to get political.
But honestly, I mean, that's the thing is like, there's people that write big checks in presidential campaigns. It's like, hey, I'll write you a big check to help you win, but if you do, we're taking a Janet flight to Area 51. So I mean, again, there's that's a valid reason why not to tell people like a president who's only there for 4 or 8 years about aliens, because he's in and out, and he could use that. So again, that's a valid reason to not tell somebody.
I thought that you were going to venture in and say that Watergate happened because the military-industrial complex then took down Nixon because he talked about aliens.
So as it turns, hang on. As it turns out,
the degree in the room just went up 3 degrees.
As it turns out, you may not be far off. And again, I'm not an expert in that. But again, there's a lot of questions about, well, again, not related to the aliens, but Watergate in general. So again, there's all these things about, all these conspiracies throughout history. But again, it's like there's something there. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not an expert on that, but you're not far off.
You're believing that interview though. That Obama interview they had, didn't he say they're not at Area, or is that just throwing?
He said they're not at Area.
He said they're not at Area 51, and if they were, it would be the biggest conspiracy in the world because they hid it from the president of the United States.
What did Bob Lazar call, like S5 or something like that?
Yes.
So I mean, again, it's sort of like that thing. He's like, what would I do if everybody finds out about Area 51? I'm like, that's fine. Just we're moving to Area 52. Like you're right, and you're not lying. You're like, no, they're not at Area 51. They're down the street at Area 52.
A few years ago, we were supposed to storm it. They couldn't stop us all.
Right, they couldn't. There's a great documentary about that, by the way. But that's an interesting thing because they kept pushing people further and further back from seeing Area 51. But if the whole world's looking at Area 51 for aliens, you go put them like in Ohio somewhere, right? You go drop them at Wright-Patterson, like because people have said they're in Florida, they're in Wright-Patterson. Or, they're in Virginia or something. Because everybody's looking at Area 51. It's like, go ahead. Go keep looking over there. There's nothing there.
It's
but
the perfect decoy.
Right.
Couts or something like that.
Right. Go put them in couts.
Yeah.
Chuck, I wanted to talk to you specifically because this is 1,000% your wheelhouse. When the initial conversations of the declassified info come up, the world market reacts.
Right. And what was interesting? I had a pastor on with me a few months ago. We talked about this during the UAP hearings because one of the things that came up was they said that if we reveal the existence of aliens or UFOs or aliens, that aliens exist, it will make people question religion and it would be disastrous for religion. I asked him point blank, I said, what do you think? He said, that's ridiculous. And then we started talking about Nephilim and the book of Enoch. And then he's like, okay, now you're going too far for me. But again, even that idea about aliens in the Bible, right. I mean, again, it's not that there's relationships there. Are we descendants of the Nephilim and all that sort of stuff? So, there's a case for that. You go back to all these things, the Younger Dryas, the great floods, are we the descendants of aliens? I mean, all these things are biblical. So that was our discussion. He said, no, I don't. He said, I'm as interested in space as anybody else, just like the president said. And so why not? So that again, that's sort of debunking that. I don't think anybody would stop going to church because there's aliens, right? I mean,
no, I was referring to the stock market.
No, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, so that would okay.
Because that was when you sent me over the link and you were like, things are getting weird.
Well, even like Bitcoin crash and stuff like that. So that becomes a question of if you do this, if you do this, what are the ramifications? Could it affect the stock market? Could people say, because again, you have a stock market that, our whole economy revolves around Wall Street and you have all of these military and, all the military industrial stocks. And, that's an interesting question of would it affect the market? Just like would it affect going to church? There are a lot of people that say, coming out and, proving that they're aliens would make people say, well, why bother? There's a whole conspiracy about the aliens are trying to give us free energy. Just like Nikola Tesla and things like that. It's like if they give us free energy, would that crash the oil markets? We got a refinery right up the street. We wouldn't need that refinery anymore. If they brought us the right tech, we wouldn't need steel mills. What would that do to our local economy if we didn't need oil and steel anymore? Because you can just grow graphene or something. You know what I mean? So that becomes these legitimate questions about if they brought us free energy, and we don't have a NIPSCO bill anymore.
Hey.
We don't have, well, right. I mean, again, but that would
Alien's going to overtake NIPSCO.
Right. There you go.
This is the first time on Bob After Dark you're going to hear the word NIPSCO. NIPSCO's our local energy reliant company.
Call it what your thoughts on
that a lot of people aren't happy with because of an increase. But again, what that becomes the question, what would that do to our economy if all of a sudden we didn't need oil anymore, right? I mean, that's an entire, the Texas and places like that, they tens of thousands of people would be out of jobs. So, or if they gave us, transport technology, we would no longer need airports, right? I mean, they could come in and give us one technology that would revolutionize how the world works, but also, there are consequences. So that may be a lot of what we're seeing is like, hey, the aliens want to show up and give us all this free stuff, but it would just derail our economy. And right at the end of the day, that's what runs this country is Wall Street and Washington.
So with that, I want to jump off and ask both of you two then. Do you view aliens that they're more friendly or they're more hostile? Like versus a Roger from American Dad or like versus an Independence Day?
Or why not both?
Why not? My answer is why not both?
Like people? Like good, bad people?
I think we are assuming that if an alien is real, and that I am going to be the first person to tell you that, yes, I believe that we are not alone in this universe because the thought of us being alone and infinite is kind of strange. If they exist, my assumption is that the psychology behind them wouldn't be much different than us. Maybe they have determined that the fact that like war isn't necessary, but I highly doubt it. As long as you have two things that exist and they have two separate beliefs of identity, which I'm assuming maybe they've evolved past the concept of identity and they're, a hive mind. I don't know. If that's the case, then I'm going to assume you're going to have hostile aliens, you're going to have friendlies, and if you think of that, it's like, well, there's no such thing as a hostile alien. Well, how do you explain abductions and not the happy-go-lucky ones where it's like, hey, they sent me up into space and I got to hang out with them on the spaceship, and the scary abduction kind, like the Hills story.
Well, most importantly, though, it is 10 o'clock. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM. Are we doing traffic and weather, or are we just going straight back into it?
So currently the traffic isn't bad because it's 10 o'clock p.m.
And the weather is, it's cold. Okay, so, but again, that what if the aliens are like traveling salesmen? They just show up and knock at your door like, hey, we're going to sell you some free energy. You know what I mean? Like, they could just show up and like sell us stuff. You know what I mean? Like, try to sell us insurance.
Do you think aliens need a concept of currency
or markets? I mean, why not? Why not?
The alien stock market.
How expensive do you think building like Death Stars and stuff are? Like, those things aren't cheap, especially if they keep blowing them up. Like, eventually they're going to drop your insurance and you're going to have to like self-finance. I mean, again, like, that's not cheap stuff.
Careful, Chuck. The existence of humans to aliens is going to drop the alien Dow about 100 points.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But again, we very well could be
By the dip.
We very well could be we could be a reality show, just like on South Park. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Chuck's gonna buy the alien dip.
So what do you guys do here? Do you guys keep going? You take a break?
We're gonna wrap it up here in just a little bit.
Okay, because you know what? Before you do though, I wanted to say one other thing. You know what's interesting? Do you know what today is?
Today is Monday, or today is Tuesday.
Bob After Dark on Tuesday.
Today is, and I realized this earlier. Today is the anniversary of the Battle of Los Angeles. Anybody know the Battle of Los Angeles?
The movie?
No, not the bad movie. The real Battle of Los Angeles.
Well,
so this is a very interesting possible UFO story.
I think I've heard of it.
Well, I have it right here. Do you know it? The battle.
No.
Okay, so this is an interesting story. And again, this goes. So this is right after. So this is 1942. So this is February of 1942. We're a couple of months after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So the country's on edge. We've got guns, pointed at the sky all over the country. And the day before, a Japanese sub surfaced right outside in California, on the shore of California, and shot at an oil field. So on February 24th, they were on high alert. They're watching the skies. And then later in the evening, radar picks up something. We'll just call it a UFO. It picks up something flying over Los Angeles. And of course, the military comes and they go, oh, well, it's clearly the Japanese. They're coming. And so they're on high alert. They're watching the skies. Later in the evening, so about 3 a.m, a flare is spotted over Santa Monica. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Gun batteries, anti-aircraft batteries all over Los Angeles. They see something, and they do what Americans and people generally do. Hey, there's a UFO. Let's shoot it. And so we fired 1,400 rounds of anti-aircraft at the I don't know, we call them not bullets, but just anti-aircraft fire at something over Los Angeles. And for 3 hours, they were just shooting at this thing, and nobody, and people were claiming they saw a disc. So again, it's like maybe the aliens came to visit us in 1942. They're like, look, you guys are fighting. We're going to come down. We're going to help you guys sort things out. And we just shot at them for like 3 hours.
Like, what are you? Friendly, very hospitable.
So
welcome.
That's the human way, though.
But that's the human way. Is like, hey, aliens were trying to land one day, and we just they're looking for a parking spot, and all of a sudden we start shooting at them over. They're like, hey, Los Angeles, we heard of that place. We're going to go, check it out, and we start.
They're coming to Hollywood.
But unfortunately, and actually, so the story did not have a happy ending because 5 civilians died because of this. 3 people died in traffic accidents, and 2 people had heart attacks. So this again weird thing where we're all on edge. The Pearl Harbor was just attacked. Everybody's watching the skies, and all of a sudden they see something, and then they just start shooting at it for 3 hours. So the Battle of Los Angeles.
I'm one thing from the Luke's point of saying good and bad. I mean, honestly though, an alien lands, right?
If we don't shoot at it,
you're by yourself. The ship lands. You see an alien get out. I mean, what do you
So
do
now
at
Do you
that
pump
point?
the shotgun, or do you like let them in your house?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and that becomes a question again, going back to like War of the Worlds and stuff. I mean, look at what War of the Worlds just saying that that a spacecraft was landing in New Jersey caused chaos all over the country. So to that point, like, yeah, maybe we, back then we weren't able to handle it. There's a lot of people that talk about even, all the alien movies in the 80s, E.T., Starman, all that stuff was basically a psyop to prepare us for the possibility of aliens. And I know Tony and I think we're on the radio, we joked about during the pandemic, it's like, what could possibly, how could things possibly get worse? And then they're like, oh, by the way, there's aliens. Here's the Tic Tac video. You know what I mean? It's like, because we figured we wouldn't care at that point because we're so busy buying toilet paper that they're like, oh, by the way, there's aliens. And then we're like, okay, cool. We're going back to watch Tiger King,
Real quick before you
Go
jump
ahead.
to the end here, so with the Battle of Los Angeles and then with War of the Worlds, was there a government response more so for War of the Worlds? Was there a government response, or was it just civilian chaos?
No, well, and I don't recall. I mean, you have to assume that there were a lot of people, a lot of civil defense and stuff like that were on edge. I mean, it was nothing like Battle of Los Angeles.
Because I wonder if it was if the government were to think that, oh shoot, it's aliens, should we cover this up, or if they joined in and were like, okay, we're ready to defend this because.
Well, and that becomes an interesting question. I mean, again, going back to Battle of Los Angeles, we know what happens if you have guns pointed at the sky and you see a UFO, they're going to start shooting at it. But even now with the technology we have, that goes back to the question of, we know that our Navy ships, going back to the Tic Tac UFO, can track it. But if this thing can go, 100 miles in a second and go 50,000 feet in a second, we really can't shoot it down. We couldn't really do anything to it. But also it's like, if I'm an alien, do I want to find out the hard way if these hairless apes can shoot me down or not? It's like, or the question is maybe they're, really a lot of these things are like probes. They're just sending them down to see what we do. Just kind of like, think about this. Think about if the hierarchy of things. I was thinking about, there's these tribes like in the Amazon. You ever see these pictures of the tribes that they've never seen humans before besides themselves? Like we flew an aircraft. They flew like a Cessna over this tribe. And what did they do? They all threw spears at it. And there's a bunch of spears stuck in the Cessna when it came back to land. So this idea of, what their reaction to our technology is probably the same that our we would have today. What would happen, again, going back to even like the movie War Games or something, a UFO tries to land in Washington. All of a sudden we're going to DEFCON 1 and nuclear missiles are, getting ready and stuff like that. Like it could very well go bad for everybody, So that becomes the question I'm the last person to say that, to justify government's decisions on things like hiding things from us. But, there's a valid reason why they probably are trying to keep this from us. And like the War of the Worlds is a perfect example of what happens if they go, oh, by the way, there's an alien landing in New Jersey, all hell broke loose.
Yes. Count, what's your take on all of this?
Bob, if they show up, I'm coming here because we're safe. I feel like we're in a little spaceship right now, aren't we?
We don't have any windows though. We would just be like, people would be calling us in, and he'd be hanging up on everybody, going, people are trying to call in, and he's like, I don't know how the phones work.
The aliens might have been trying to reach us.
A guy named Al E.N. was calling in. And
Al E.N. But is this what should we make a pact if aliens invade? This is where we should come to broadcast.
Look, if anything bad happens, I'm getting a cigar. I'm coming here live on the radio. We're gonna drink and see how we're gonna go down to the Winchester, have a pint, and see how this all blows over. Go down to WJOB and have a pint and see if this goes.
That's my answer is to come here, and I got to broadcast the alien invasion. It's my job.
Yeah. You're gonna be the hero of the day. Your magnum opus.
You can get the interview.
My Corpus Christi.
Your Corpus Christi.
My magnum opus.
Your magnum opus.
Called it the Corpus Christi.
I don't know. I called it that.
You did. You called it
the Krispy Kreme.
Remember that time you called the Fading Peninsula? And someone was giving you, like, someone legitimately wrote me an email about it. This was our Glitches in the Matrix episode. This was years ago. Yeah. And he legitimately called something like, yeah, but what about the Fading Peninsula? What are you talking about?
Geez, what did I say? Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I've said my fair share of nonsense over the years.
Island.
Easter Island Massacre. For one. So usually what I do when
I would explain it, but
We usually round up the episode. Luke, you're a first timer here on Bob After Dark, so we'll have you go first. I always end the show with making my guests do a quip or a piece of advice, a riddle, a joke, a something.
Don't be afraid.
Oh, that's good.
Be not afraid if you're Catholic.
Now, Chuck, do you buy the dip?
Taxation?
If there are aliens, buy the dip. Don't shoot at the aliens, no matter. I remember even like in Independence Day, they're like, whatever you do, don't shoot at the aliens. Like, please don't. You're going to trigger a war.
Aliens pay taxes
yes,
too.
If you look at Mars,
If
you look at Mars attacks, it was the dove that set them off. It wasn't us attacking.
Well, that's true. Let me get one political bite in here. Then here's what
Oh
I would
no,
do.
it's okay.
If the aliens land, I will go to them and say, "What's your tax rate? How high are your taxes? Are you building any stadiums that I need to pay for, or bike bridges, or do you have any trains?
Flying saucer trails?
Like how much are my? I'd go and say, what's your tax rate, and I'll consider it. Like, hey, look, I can fix phone lines. I can fix studio. Like, I don't know if you guys broadcast.
You'll be the maintenance guy.
I get the alien maintenance guy. Like, but I need to know your tax rate first. That'd be my only question. It's like, what's your tax rate?
And they turn you and say, "What's taxes?"
And I go, "Well, you're sold.
I'll become one of you. Abduct me now."
Let me pack my Svengoolie shirts and I'll be on the way. Let me go get my Svengoolie shirts and my Bucky shirts and my Waffle House. Do you guys have coffee? Like, I'm going to bring some coffee with me. If you replicate that, we're good. Like, I need coffee, donuts, and no taxes. I'm sold. Take me anywhere. My wife will get a phone call. Like, where are you? Alpha send something. I'm far away. I'll
3
come
galaxies
visit.
away.
I'm 3 galaxies away.
Their big thing is taxation is theft, and I just left. What's your closing words for the evening?
The truth is out there.
The truth is, I want to
believe. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't think it's past I want to. It's just I think I have to.
How can you not believe, really, at this point?
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's the thing.
Count, I forgot. Don't you have a tattoo relating to aliens?
I do. Well, it's a Pierogi alien hybrid. I don't know if I can take my pants
let's
off.
not do that.
Please.
We'll take your word for it.
Listen, I want you to know that 90% of the female fan base just jumped. They're like, "Yeah, can't you show us that tattoo?"
The Bob After Dark.
The Bob After Dark.
Yeah.
All right, folks, thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Bob After Dark. On behalf of myself and Count Panic, we just want to say goodnight to all of you. Mom, I just want to wish you sweet dreams. Dad, wherever you are in the universe, I hope you're happy, comfortable doing whatever it is that you want to be doing in the TIFF. No matter where you are, I hope you have the sweetest dreams of them all. Good night, everybody. And remember, the 2 most important rules of Bob After Dark are not all who wander are lost, and as above, so below. Until next time.
Memoriam Development.